watching Wjzz Cool TV, sponsored by our local chapter, our only chapter, the Highland Park Chamber Group. The Highland Park Chamber, the president, Mr. Roger Penzavini, wonderful guy, doing a great job for the chamber. And you can live stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, other top social media platforms. Like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching Wjzz Cool TV, the coolest station in the world.
Hey.
Wjzz Cool TV. I can't wait to get my T-shirt. It's gonna look like that over there. I don't know if you can see it on the bottom of the door.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that's a lovely thing. I came in here with another T-shirt and he didn't like me too much. But I love the gold. It reminds me of some of my frat brothers, those colors. So those colors really stick with me. Me being an AKA and all, it's always a cool.
Pink and green.
Gotta have the pink and green. Ain't nothing like the pink and green, I'm telling you. You're listening to Councilwoman DeBlon Jackson of Highland Park. Having a great time. Loving my city. I tell you, I love this city, and I don't think that'll ever change. But we are having some wonderful things that's getting ready to happen in Highland Park. And the most wonderful thing that has happened recently is this lovely young PR person, young woman here. And I'm going to have her introduce herself because she's come here. And the thing about it is, I came in the office and I was speaking with, I believe, Richetta. Mm-hmm. And then that's how I met you. Yep. And at that point, I had no idea that you were in Highland Park doing these wonderful things. Of course, I've seen you on many, many other events, successful events, by the way.
Thank you.
And such a wonderful and hard worker. And we're going to talk about her and the work that she has cut out to do here in Highland Park is going to be quite huge.
Yes.
We are trying to bring a positive image to our city, and a positive image to me is very important. Definitely. Because if you don't have a positive image, how are the people going to come and they hear negative things about our city all the time? There are some things that need to be improved, but then there are some wonderful things that are happening. We got a lot of artistic things happening. In fact, I'm getting ready to start the Highland Park Community Music Program, and we're going to be jamming in the streets all next summer, I hope. We're gonna have our first meeting Saturday from 12 to 2. May not stay as long as 2, depending on how many people come, but come right at 12. We're going to start right on time.
Okay.
And you can call my number, leave a text. It'll be easier. 313-510-3462. Because what we're trying to do here in Highland Park is bring culture. Not only bring, there's a lot of development that will be happening. And from what I understand, in the next 5 years, Highland Park is going to look different. But really, everything is predicated on the city council and different folks voting on certain things and pretty much forming what we're going to do here in Highland Park. Because Highland Park has a lot of beautiful, wonderful homes.
Yes.
Beautiful homes.
Big homes.
Big homes. Cost big money to run them. I mean, yes. I can remember a $450, $500 gas light bill, $700 gas light bill, depending on the bigness of the home. But of course, if you like, some people I know, they like to keep that heat on high status. So high status is like, what, 75 and 80 and up. So, and I know some people, not only do they have the heat on high status, they have a heating pad and a heating blanket to match. Now, if that were me, I would be sweating. All this hair would be all sweated out. You'll see me dripping with that type of heat. But there are some of my friends and some people that I know. They turn that heat on 80, and they sit and they put that electric blanket on.
You talking about my mama right now?
then that's it. But what we have to do is what I'm trying to really understand. How much cheaper will it be if we do the solar? Now, I know Solidarity, they got a good foothold on solar energy, and that's a good thing when you think about it, because it could save quite a bit of money. But my question is, when will you get the savings if it costs $5,000 or $6,000 or more to put the solar system in? Mm-hmm. When does the savings come? And these are kind of things that we need to know in Highland Park, because if you got one of those big houses, you know you're going to spend at least $10,000 or $15,000. Easily. Putting the solar in, and then what is the residual income and how much money per year can you get, and how long will it take before you feel that you're getting your money's worth and you're getting your money back? And another thing, I asked DTE, and they can't even seem to give me an answer. If something happens to your solar, well, is there any insurance for the coverages? Mm-hmm. Who covers that? Does your insurance company coverage, or do you have to pay for special coverages? It's just like if we can get lighting in Highland Park, who do we have to cover if heavens forbid, if a storm comes, breaks that pole in half, who's gonna pay? Do we get that replaced? Is there a insurance? And is the insurance gonna cost just as much as the pole? Or
right, yeah.
Because sometimes they say, like for instance, oh, I got insurance, but your deductible is $5,000. I'm like, well, hell, you don't have insurance,
right?
I mean, who can come up with that
$5,000 deductible? Yeah, now, that's pretty.
So these are the things that we have to talk about. Now, I'm so glad that you came to Highland Park for the PR piece, because what's happening is we don't have any communication in Highland Park, and talk about what is your take on this? How do we communicate? And say your name loud so they can hear you too.
So my name is Lakeisha Brown. Mm-hmm. Okay. I was brought on as the new public relations director for the city of Highland Park, and since I've came in, it's been a whirlwind, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Still getting acclimated, but I did see that there is an issue with communication. Mm-hmm. If there was something to happen, how would we get that out to the residents? How would we get that out to the community? And as of right now, I don't think there's a system set up. However, as of yesterday, I was told that there may be a system that we could utilize for that. So I'm doing my due diligence to seek out the different platforms that we could utilize to make sure that we have some type of communication in case something happens, because accidents happens, things happens, bad weather happens, so to be able to communicate those things to the community is very vital. Even if we set up something where it's like a text subscription where people can text a number and get updates of what's going on in the city, even that would be conducive. So I'm doing my due diligence to try and figure out the best strategy and the best way that we can go about it for the residents.
Yeah. Have you spoken with Mr. Lackey yet in terms of digitally what can be done? Or
Yep. Yeah. Lackey and I have been in communication about everything, because I'm redoing the website right now for the city of Highland Park, going through the process of seeing what it would take to have the website redeveloped, because we want to make it a lot more easier for people to have access to the site to find things.
Yeah.
Because it's
yeah. I was expressing that before at the council meeting several meetings ago, and I was like, it doesn't seem very friendly, especially to a person like such as myself. Now, I won't claim to be the best person on the internet. I'm not. And I admit it, and I know my weaknesses. But I'm not the most craziest person on the internet either. And sometimes when I get on that website, it sends me to all kind of places where I don't want to go. And I'm trying to get to where I want to go. Right. Eventually I get there, but I'm saying like, dang, well, how did I go around?
It's a lot of clicks.
Yeah.
Because what I like to do is, because outside of this, I also build websites personally for my own client base. And I like for things to be very easily accessible. And so what I did was, when I came in and I looked at the website, I personally was like, okay, let me see if I can find a particular form as if I'm a resident. And so as I'm going through the website, I'm clicking, and I'm just like, wait a minute now. Like, how do I get,
And that's what the residents, that's what they see, and that's why they get confused and call me, well, I can't, I don't know where to go. Then I get on there and I can't tell them because I'm not that savvy myself. But
so that's where I come in.
Right.
So I've been working on, I literally had a conversation with the website developer yesterday, and where I should have everything as far as like the layout, like what we discussed. They're going to send me a proposal. I'm going to go over it. I should have that by Monday, and we're going to go ahead and get started on getting that website updated, because it's confusing.
Yeah, because I was even thinking, even when I first came into City Hall, I didn't know where to go. I had to figure it out. I asked Richetta. She sent me a few places, And she said, well, what would you do to change this? I said, I would make a step-by-step process for the next individual coming in so they know, okay, today, well, this is what we're going to do this day. We're going to go take your picture. Mm-hmm. We're gonna let you know where everything is and meet everybody, the different departments, so that they know you and you know them. And we're going to do this. Well, I didn't get none of that. I sort of like went around on my own and just sort of met people.
I see that that's been a recurring theme.
So I think that it should, but it still should be a system in place. I think that would make it more friendlier for the persons coming aboard or coming on to council or coming into as a staff in general on the Highland Park. There's a lot of improvements there that can be done to make it a little bit more friendlier. A little bit more easier, because you're coming in, you don't know where you're going. You're just sort of like stumbling and finding your own way as you go. And that should be for all positions coming on board. Persons should know, maybe possibly, like for instance, when I was teaching in Detroit Public Schools, and they hired us on, musicians, of course, a band director, whatever. But anyway, they gave us a list of places to go, to get shots, to get this, to get that, this is what you do on your list.
Right.
And that's really good, cool, because you can't go wrong.
Definitely.
You can't go wrong when you on your, let me turn all these down. You can't go wrong when you're on your list.
Yeah.
Because you can go, okay, point A, I'm going to go over here. They're going to show me where to, I'm going to sign my documents over here. I'm going to go here. And we're going to do this, and then I'm going to go here, take this, talk with this person, get this stack of whatever I need, and sign these papers. It should be, and that's what's some form of organization. There you go.
There we go. That's it.
That's it
because I like things to be organized and concise, to where you can actually find things and get straight to the point. So that's one of the projects I'm currently working on.
Oh, well, that's good. I am just very happy about that because I'm telling you, it was confusing on quite a few issues. And then you have to look at everything that's... I sort of make comparisons of Highland Park to other communities, especially I like Lathrop Village. I like their ordinances. I like St. Clair Shores ordinances. I was in hope, if I had stayed a little bit longer on the council, the hope was to make sure the ordinances are good and that they are applicable to Highland Park. Use some of the things in the other ordinances from other places, other cities. Use them here so that our business owners, our abatement ordinances are in place. Our business owners are up to snuff. They understand, and the citizens understand. They understand that, okay, where does my property line go? Okay, it goes from the front of your grassy area there to the back by the alley.
Right.
Where the grassy area ends, or where the dirt stops and it's cement, that's your area. Where that cement stops, that's the end of your line, basically. So everyone needs to know that, because there has been situations where there has been a tree that fell, but it fell on another person's. The tree was on Rhode Island in somebody's yard, right? But it fell across the alley to another person's yard.
The person whose tree that stump is in is responsible.
Right. So the city had to go and clear that away because everybody was blaming on the city, but it wasn't the city's fault. The tree was on the private citizen's yard, but it fell over into the other.
Right.
So that's where Highland Park is not getting a lot of, financial support. So those are the things that's needed in the future. Understanding, how far do you cut? Well, you cut to your line. Some people say, well, do you cut to the middle of the alley? I don't think you cut to the middle of the alley, but you can see where the line is, where the dirt begins and the cement begins. Starts, So that's they usually say that's a property line, but the thing about it is, only way you know that, you would have to get pay a surveyor to come out so that you know actually where your property line is. From the front to the sides, like they'll say on a note on a deed, it'll say some of them always say maybe 60 by 122. That means 60 wide by 122 deep. So if it's 122 deep, that could be the house. But the rest of the perimeter of the land, that's the whole property.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot that has to be done in the city.
Yeah. So what is your main goals?
One, to build up the outlook of Highland Park. A lot of people kind of have their own preconceived conception about what Highland Park is. You know, they talk about the crime or the blight, or it's about really helping to change that perspective. And then also to build up the community, because we've lost the sense of communion amongst the community, because we're so divisive now. COVID kind of killed a lot. COVID
did a lot. In particularly, like they were saying on the news, there's more mental illness situations going on now, and the children have to be watched, because children are social persons, and with them not having that socialization of other children around now, that some of the psychologists say that there are a lot of issues going on with that, especially in the school system. And then we're putting it together by the mere fact that we got a teacher shortage in the whole United States.
Yeah.
Not just Michigan or Highland Park, everywhere. And in light of a teacher shortage, what do you do? I mean, and then I worry about the parents, because think about this. Poor mama, she got 2 kids, don't have no daddy.
Yep.
And you got to stay home and watch them?
All day. Every day.
How do you work?
From home.
How do you,
but that's even difficult,
That's hard.
That's hard. Yeah.
How do you do that? I mean, we got single parents wearing 25 hats?
It's hard now, having that work-life balance and being able to just juggle everything that's going on that you have to do. And so just we got to figure out ways to ease that load.
Yeah. And, I was thinking, as far as the schools were concerned, because they were saying that if certain, like in Detroit, if certain kids can't read at certain levels, they got to stay where they are. My thing is, we need to get more reading specialists or something, because I'm finding out just by asking, children to read this and read that, there's not a lot of reading going on.
Again, COVID kind of killed a lot, and I think education always starts at home. That's a big thing for me. I have a 13-year-old son. He'll be 14 in April, and by golly, wow, that child is huge. But
how do you maintain groceries? I mean, for a boy,
he eats out like a house and a home. But my son is my everything. I absolutely love him, and he showed me his report card today. My baby got straight A's. I'm excited. But so nice. I would make him read 30 minutes a day, every day. I didn't care if he was in school. I didn't care if he was out of school. I don't care if it was the summer. I didn't care if they was on break. 30 minutes a day. And then I would have him literally write me like a small book report on what he read, because, we got to be able to still instill certain qualities and stuff into our children before they get to school, because the teacher is going to expound on what we're teaching them at home. And so if we're working together with the teacher, then our child has the ability to excel. And so I understand that now, with people having to work from home and take care of home while the children were schooling from home, it's kind of hard to
that balance.
Right. It's kind of hard to find that balance, and then find that time to actually, sit with them and kind of go over schoolwork, because you need your own break.
Right.
But I think that if we structure our time well, if we could take a half hour out of our day to invest into our child, whether it's just going over schoolwork, whether it's just having them read, or, doing those things, it's going to help them. And the idea of programs, especially like the music program, is important, especially now that we're trying to get the kids back amongst each other. Programs like this is important. Music programs. after school tutoring that they do at the rec center. You know, the football that they were doing at the rec center.
All that is important.
It's extremely important. And for Sue to tell me not many children are going, it's like, wait a minute. You know, we got a lot of kids in Highland Park. That's something that they need, you know.
We have a lot of kids, but we also have a lot of parents who work 2 and 3 jobs.
That's true.
Because the average parent is getting that, they're not getting $15 an hour. So you figure if they're working 8 hours on one job, they're working 4 and 5 on another, just to make sure that the rent gets paid and they can bring food to the table. So those are kind of things, issues. The amount that they make, the money issue is a problem.
So there's, you know, from my understanding, I've been posting a lot of stuff on the City of Highland Park site of different job postings and stuff. And there's some other factories here in Highland Park that's hiring 15 and up. Granted, you have to have certain qualifications for those, but Detroit is also doing education for free. The Detroit Reconnect, where, you know, you can apply to get a college degree for free. You know, they're paying for that. So all of these different resources that's available, I would really suggest for people to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I think we need to bring them to light. I don't think a lot of people know.
Okay.
It's just like, for instance, a gentleman called me, and he was wondering about programs to fix house fix-up. Well, the first thing I told him I would do is call City Hall to see what programs are available. And then you can also call the water department, because sometimes they have the window treatment program and or getting the water stuff, the pipes program, the payment programs that they have.
Right.
The electric company has their programs, but you have to get in on a first come first served basis for most of these. But a lot of times Highland Park has programs or access to information about fix up and stuff as well. It's just that things aren't publicized, and we need to know exactly what is available, for how long. Like, for instance, someone just called me still about the FEMA. Now, I know there was some information on FEMA as of, September?
Yeah.
But that's pretty much over. And then they're just following up on the people that had applied.
Right.
So.
Yeah, we do have to do a better job of putting information out there. And that's another thing. It's like the platform that we use. You know, everything is going social media now. You know, everyone looks to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You know, that's the main thing, especially even for television shows, and you know, it's social media now. So I've been trying to post whatever I get on social media. I know that on my show on Mondays, at the beginning of the show, I always read off different resources that's available that people can have access to.
Oh, that's great.
So
maybe you could give me a copy of that, and I can read some of that too.
Yeah, sure.
As well.
I definitely make sure I get you a copy, because I have maybe 5-6 different pages of different things that's happening.
Yeah, because I know on Friday, Ebenezer has the turkey giveaway.
Yes.
But it's only till 12 o'clock or something like that, or whatever.
I'm not exactly
It's like
sure.
7 or 12. I have to look at my phone. But anyway, that's on Friday. And those things are important.
They are. They're extremely important.
Because we have a lot of folks who they need that.
Yeah. I believe that
very well needed.
Once we get the communication piece and the website is redesigned, because I'm gonna put everything on the website. To kind of keep people updated as far as different services, community resources, and whatnot that is available. It's just that we have to get the website redesigned, so that it's easily accessible and you can find information.
Now, when did they find out that this needed to be redesigned? I've been saying that since last year.
You know,
when I first came in. And then, you know what? I can remember looking up stuff, and I said, well, what in the world's going on? And I asked him stuff. He said, well, I got to it. I said, that's because you're an expert. What about the people that's not experts?
Right. I took the time. Yeah, I actually, when I came into the position, I looked up who designed the site. And then I looked at other sites that they designed, because they design sites for other cities. And so when I saw it, I said, okay, so they've been designing websites for cities constantly, especially because they're a local company. And I reached out, and she was like, okay, well, get with Lackey. I got with Lackey, and we're on the start for it, So
that's cool.
I guess Lackey does so much, and he's everywhere. So
yeah, he's like
he's everywhere.
Yeah.
So
it's hard for him to hone down on one
exactly
particular situation.
Right.
And I understand that.
So I try and extend grace, well. Because we all get pulled into different things that we have to do, and so when I reached out to him and he got back with me, he was like, sure, go ahead. I was like, all right, cool. So we're in the process. The process has been, initiated, and hopefully, I don't know the time frame. So I don't, as of yet, I don't know the time frame.
Well, as long as there is a time frame, that's all I care.
But the process has been started.
That's cool.
I did talk to them and gave them my ideas. I definitely want to have a button where it says, how do I? And you click on it, and it's like, find a permit or get community resources, whatever it is that they're looking for. How do I?
And then if there are community resources to come in, add them on so that people know that, okay, well, I can ask for this here or ask for that. Makes sense.
Yep. So just to make it easily accessible. That's the main thing.
Now, how are you going to do? What kinds of things have you been asked to do so far, as far as PR is concerned?
Ooh. So
that sounded like a loaded question.
I love what I do. I really do. Because I've always been big in the community anyway. But as of right now, my hands are kind of in a lot of different pots. Working on trying to get the website redesigned, figuring out a communication piece for the residents, what we discussed earlier. I'm currently putting a proposal together for a newsletter for the city, like a
every once a month,
every quarter. Yep, a quarterly magazine or whatnot to put out for the residents that could be accessed online, or we'll have so many printed copies that people can have access to. I've been working with CED just to see what's going on as far as community economic development. Trying to just see how we can, bring excitement back to Highland Park. Been working with the police department, been working with the fire department. So I've literally been driving all over the city of Highland Park, talking with people, in the process of forming the business alliance, the BBB, Building Better Businesses, which is going to be the Highland Park Business Alliance, where we get together once a month, talk about what the businesses, what we can do to help businesses in the city, also what they can do to help the residents, because I am a big believer that if you have a business here, what is your contribution to the city?
Right.
What is your contribution to the residents? What are you doing to better what's around you? And so having those types of conversations. So I'm built, like I said, I'm simultaneously got my hand in a lot of different things. So soon, and hopefully very soon, we'll see a lot of that start to come to pass.
Oh, that's great. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, me too.
Now, yeah, right. I mean, hey.
It's a lot of hard work going into this.
Yes. So you are introduced nicely here on this Highland Park show.
Yes.
But the thing about it is, where do we go from here? What is the major thing that we have to? What is the most important thing that you say your job entails?
Building a positive perspective about Highland Park.
Good. And how would you start doing that? What is your basic premise on that?
Just getting people to understand Highland Park. We have a history here. Highland Park is known for its rich soil. There's a lot that came from Highland Park. Highland Park is really, truth be told, Highland Park is really like the Motor City. With I mean, Ford had his plant right here, you know, not downtown. He had it here in Highland Park. So, just getting people to understand that, you know, we have a history here. That history is rich, but also we have a future, and we can't stay in the past, but we have to always remember that foundation and remember those roots as we grow and as we continue to go forward. And so, if we can get everyone on the same page, and then also get everyone to understand that upkeep, that we got to do our own due diligence to upkeep our area too, you know, and do what we can to make Highland Park look and feel a lot better, because I think that if we can make the residents feel better about living here, they will in turn, you know, show that, and people will see that too. So if we take pride in our own city, then other people will see that and take pride in it as well. So it starts at home. So we have to change our own minds and our own feelings about what's happening. And then also, I understand that there's a lot of conflict, and everybody don't agree with everything that's happening. But at the same time, you can't please everybody. So instead of there being so much clashing, how about we look at the positive in it, build on that positivity, and turn that around?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and by that, I think that we could build, before the end of the year, we can all get on that same mind frame. Before the end of the year, you know, people will feel better about where they are.
Definitely.
You know,
I think that's important.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the whole program of me doing the community music thing, is to develop people that can come together, their families can come together. Because a lot of times we don't do things as a family anymore.
We don't.
I don't know when the last time, I haven't done anything, but it's been a while. But I'm sure other people can relate to that, because, hey, your family's in and out. The kids are grown. It's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
And just the idea of bringing people together, that's a big feat in itself.
It is. And I hate to put it all on COVID, but that's when you really start to see a lot of things kind of fall away, because it was, you know, you can't have, you know, 5 or more people in your house. You know, then the family dinners kind of fell apart during the holiday season because people couldn't come home, or, you know, people were scared, and, you know, so it caused a mess, like you said. And just kind of bringing that sense of communion back, we got to build that. We got to build that back. And so I have an idea. It's not out yet.
Well, that's good. Well, hey,
but
all
you
the
know,
good ideas you have is all for the good.
You know, to kind of build that communion back up. Hopefully before the end of this year, I can expound on that. But
now, do you have any idea when they're gonna have the turkey giveaway or anything of that nature, or is there gonna be any dinners or
what
for Highland Park? What is going on the calendar that you may know of?
So, from my understanding, because we've been having a lot of it's been a shortage of turkeys like crazy, because everybody kind of put in their requests a lot earlier than what we were able to do. So we've been trying to get in contact with, we got in contact with Myers, and
well, you know what some people are doing, they just giving out chickens.
We might have to go that route, because truth be told, we can't get turkeys. It's been difficult. Myers wasn't able to give us turkeys. They're saying, well, we don't have that many turkeys to give. It's a meat shortage across the United States. So it's been very difficult. However, what I do know is that the city has partnered with, what was it, Ebenezer, I believe it was, to kind of give out the turkeys. So a lot of us is going to be represented down there. And we're just trying to figure out other ways that we can kind of bless the community during this holiday season. So I suggest people go down to Ebenezer for right now, get their turkeys, and we're going to see what else we can do.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, that's good to know. At least the people know that. Now, on your show that you do, what channel can people watch?
So, the BTG morning show is on Mondays at 8 a.m. I only go till 9 because it's already early. But it's on WHPR. That is channel 90 on Comcast, 33 on regular TV, and then it's 15.2. I think that is for, what is it, the digital? Did they have like the digital converter box or something when they switched that whole thing?
Had all that.
So 15.2. Then it can be watched online through TV33WHPR.com. And then also they live stream it on Facebook.
Wow. There's a lot of ways you can see that.
Yes.
So we need to once we get that situation, they need to find out exactly how many people have internet in Highland Park. And that way you'll know who's got what and who's watching what.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're doing air TV with the antenna. So I'm not sure how many channels they can get with that. So.
Yeah, that's probably like the digital, which is the 15.2. So for those who have the antenna, I believe it would be 15.2 with that digital box. I kind of get the antenna and the digital box a little mixed up sometimes, but it's either 33 or 15.2. But if they have a smartphone, there's an app. You can get it on the Roku app too. So on the smartphone, you can live stream it on Facebook or the Roku app, and also the internet, the website.
Okay, you're watching Wjzz Cool TV, sponsored by the Highland Park Chamber Group. Wonderful group. Live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Like, follow, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching Wjzz Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. I love that. The coolest station in the world. I've been wanting to do that. Like, so, what was that? Like, Soul Train. The coolest station in the world. Anyway. But also, it's a lot of wonderful things happening in the community. It's a lot of development. I noticed that, and I always say this, it seems a lot of improvement has been done on Woodward, the cleaning part. I still have a few other owners that I would like to speak with, but all in all, they've been doing their part from 6 Mile to Tennyson, of course, Tuxedo's across the street. It seems much cleaner. I have talked to many owners. I've thanked them personally for having a nice front, taking pictures, putting them up on it, just give them their kudos about the cleaning and that. And
that's important.
And I'm still going to do the same thing. I think it's important that we come together as a community and decide, well, do we want to clean or what? And that's where those ordinances will come into play. And hopefully, maybe they might want to change them.
Yeah, I think that automatically should be.
If we have ordinances in Highland Park, but why not use some of the other ones and really understand and specify? Like, for instance, if the grass is supposed to be cut, well, it shouldn't be this high.
Right.
It should be, everything should be looking somewhat. It don't have to be perfect, but just so that it's cleaned up around your house. My thing is, if everybody cleaned up around their own personal home, it's going to look better anyway.
Thank you.
It's going to look way better anyway, so It doesn't really matter. If everybody on every street weed, whack, mowed, trimmed, did their lot the way it's supposed to be done, and basically just make sure you can see the front of your house and not all that shrubbery in front of your house.
Exactly.
I know there's a man on my street. I guess I don't know if it's a design.
Lord.
I'm not sure what it is, to be quite honest. But I know it's a bunch of bushes. And usually when people have those bushes, they'll trim them up and make them look pretty. But these things look wow. And I'm like, I'm not sure what kind of design that is, but it doesn't go with everybody else on the rest of the block, so we need to try to be at least similar. But that's what some of the ordinances and some of the abatements have in other places. And I noticed too something that I noticed that Detroit is doing for the blight, and I had suggested this a little while ago. The cameras. See, in Philadelphia and places out east, they don't have a whole lot of problem with blight. That's because everywhere you go, the camera is aiming in on your license plate. So once you do something and they got these cameras, all they have to do is get your license plate, and they're going to send you a big old ticket in the mail.
Yes.
So a lot of places don't have that problem. I think having grants to get cameras, I think that would be a great suggestion. In the areas that are having the most problems would be good for those type of areas.
Definitely.
And we don't have the money, so grants would be the way to go. And by the way, who is the grant writer? Who writes the grants? I mean, that's something we need to find out. That
is a good question. I think also with the lights, the cameras that you were mentioning, the Blue Light Project. If we can get a lot of the businesses to participate in that, they have cameras and they go directly to the police station. So the police is actually looking at those cameras. I'm talking
like on the off streets, like Brush, like over there by the old Thompson School area. That's right there in that. I call it that's where I saw the dang blast. What you call them? Those animals?
Oh Lord.
Coyote. That's why I first saw the coyote was over there by Thompson School. It's all that shrubbery and this thing. And then one came across the street from where I live. I thought it was a dog, but it was not a dog. You know the difference, right? That big long nose and those pointed ears. I mean, I said, that is not a dog. It came right out of the abandoned house across the street from me. And because it's very wooded over there. Yeah. You would think you're in a park. And we need to, it is Highland Park, but it shouldn't look like a park. We shouldn't be looking like Palmer Park or the woods. My thing is, I just want to see it. I think what's going to happen, I was asking a gentleman how much it would cost to cut all the grasses in Highland Park. And, the high areas, it says somewhere between $50,000 to $60,000 a month. So I figure that's, about 675 roughly, maybe 740 or something like that. 740,000. Then I thought about it. If you had to outsource that, it would probably cost way more than that to clean it up. It probably cost something like $1.5 million. If it's from the whole circumference of 2.9 square miles. Well, so that's more than like for 2.9 square miles, we're almost talking 50 cents a foot. Yeah. 50 cents a square foot. Possibly.
Just about, yeah.
Which is pretty.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. Some places more because they do other stuff, but that will work out for this city. Something like that.
Yeah, I think again, like you said, if each resident took pride in their property, and I get it. There's some that's seniors that can't do it at all, but to have someone to come in and donate their services, like say for instance, if there is a person who owns a lawn care service in the city of Highland Park, donate their services maybe once or twice a month to cut the grass of some senior citizens who can't afford to pay for it. That's another thing. It's about,
I think we should make a catalog, because I was talking to Bishop Evans about this, and he mentioned that anybody that I saw who possibly needed help, let him know, because he has a lot of nice men in his church who do a lot of things in the community. Yeah. I think if we could just get an effort like that would be helpful. Then that way we could see a little bit more congeniality in our communities. And another thing that I'm seeing, people parking on the grass, people making the front lines a parking lot, putting gravel out for the parking area in the front line. I'm like, ooh, is it because it's not enough parking, which I understand. Yeah. But we got to do something about that because it doesn't look right.
Yeah. I understand, like, some areas had that, what's them arched driveways?
Yes.
Which is a nice thing, but, when you don't have the room for it and it looks kind of just, you're just on your grass, it doesn't look good. It's not appealing to the city.
Not a good look.
No, it's not.
At all.
It's not.
So, I don't know what to do about it, but that's all a part of your ordinances and your abatements.
Right.
You have to decide, what do you want your city to look like, and in doing that, some cities, like I said, some cities go as far as how high they want the grass to be. They don't want it over 4 inches. You need to cut it at, about 3 inches?
That's about
3 is about right here.
Right, about 3 is about here.
So if it's more than 3 inches, like up there, then that's high. But do we have to go to that point where I think at first we need to do something. I don't know, because I'm looking at all different kinds of blight. I didn't know that there was varying balances of blight. We had the blight that's, we know showing up blight, but then we had a blight on people's lines that maybe it needs to be cut, or maybe the weeds are growing faster than the grass. I don't know. There's something's going on with all that.
Yeah. The blight is a big issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge issue. I do know that I was speaking with community economic development in regards to the blight.
Mm-hmm.
He showed me a list of properties that were on the list to be torn down.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a
only
budget.
thing about those properties being torn down, I wish they could save the bricks somewhere, because material costs are so high now.
They're expensive.
I mean, one brick is like $17. I couldn't believe it.
One brick?
Yeah, the old school, the bricks, they're like over $10 now, I think. Well over. So you figure, back when I was hanging out with bricklayers, back in the day, you could $2 or $3 a brick was cool, but shoot, you're talking like $10 to $15 now.
Yeah.
So,
if there was a way.
So the prices of wood, like for instance, a 2x4, I could get it for like $2.50, but now we're talking $8.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
During the pandemic, it was higher than that. It was like $12 or $15 just for a 2x4.
Material costs are way going up, just like food and everything else. But like for instance, to build a house now is 2 times much more than it was before. So the only way you got to get leveraging, and Highland Park has the leverage. Reason being is because the property values are very low, so you can leverage it out and build. So it won't cost that much. It'll fit right within the budget because the land is not that expensive. However, that's not going to last forever.
No, it's not.
Because the first time you start building a development, it's going to shoot everybody else's houses up at least by $50,000 to $60,000.
Yes, it is.
And that's what's going to happen.
Very quickly.
It won't take long.
Nope.
At all.
And that is the beauty of having the land that we have here in Highland Park. If we can have different developments come in, whether it's just new houses or an apartment or anything in or that fashion, that can kind of help build up the property value and kind of make it to where the person who has this house, who's had it for 50 years, who property value may only be $80,000, but now it's like $280,000.
Right. And see, that's what I was telling.
That's
like a lot of
good to
people
pass
say,
down.
well, the SE value is only $50,000. I said, but the houses are selling for $150,000 to $180,000, even in bad condition in Highland Park.
Right. Yeah.
Because they're big. You can't find houses made in the style of Albert Kahn, but you can find them here in Highland Park.
They're
if
really
you understand
nice.
The architecture, it's really beautiful.
It really is.
So in light of that, I mean, I always tell my people, just keep your houses if you want to keep them. But if you decide that it's getting a little too much for you and you get older and don't want to do all those steps, sell it at that point. I mean,
I think it's real estate and land is very important for families, and I really believe that it should stay in the family as long as possible, because that's your asset, that's your wealth building. So it's just the foundation of building that wealth. So if you have a house, keep it, especially in Highland Park, because you really want to pass that down. If the house becomes too much, find someone in the family that can take it over, that can that you don't mind giving that house to, because you don't want to let that house go. You don't. Not right now. Nope. You don't want to let that house go. You want to acquire as much land and as much real estate as you possibly can. Because when it comes to building wealth and financial status, that's one of the main things that they say you should have. That's an asset. instead of it being a liability, especially if the house is paid off. So right now, I'm really hoping to, in the future, develop where we can have certain companies come in to help, especially the seniors whose garage may be falling apart. Have a garage company. I have a brother who does garage doors. Have him come in and do a donation once a month to fix a garage for somebody, or have a company that rehab homes come in and help to redevelop that house to if their steps is falling apart, do the steps, things like that to kind of help people out in the city.
Oh yeah, that's good. Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. We all got to stick together on this development and this moving forwardness. But the main thing is we definitely are in need of housing in Highland Park. We don't have enough. Yeah. In fact, a lady was asking me yesterday, could I find her a place so that she could rent? I'm like, good luck with that, because there's hardly any rentals here in Highland Park. And if there are rentals, it's like family rentals, personal, that people have the houses and they're renting them out. But basically, you're watching WJZZ Live TV, and it's sponsored by the Highland Park Chamber Group. And it's live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, your top social media platforms. Like, follow, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest radio station in the world. But what I'm liking is I really thank you for coming on the show.
No problem. It was a pleasure.
It's really fun to see what's going on and all the plans that you have. I think you're in the right direction to help move things forward as well. We just want to get to the point where things is just smooth sailing, if you will.
Right.
Where things aren't confusing, where the people are okay at whatever they're doing. They're fine. They understand it. They organize it, and the people in the community know what's going on. Because so many people say, well, I don't even know. I didn't know that this happened. I didn't know that happened. But I'm here to say, well, we just got to keep it moving, do the best that we can with it.
I agree. I agree.
Because Highland Park is moving forward. People may want to hold Highland Park back, but you can't stay in this state for too long.
Right.
Because we're like down here, so it's got to move up. It can't stay this low. And Highland Park has always been the type of city that's resilient. I mean, we was in receivership. We got our mayor's seat back, and hopefully we never have to deal with that situation again. But the thing about it is we've got to build our development. We've got to move forward.
Right.
We can't we've been waiting, 30, 40 years now?
Yeah.
And those buildings sitting on Woodward looking the same way for 30 years? That's too much.
Time. We can't be afraid to change.
No.
That's the thing.
We've got to move forward.
It can be scary, but we can't be afraid to change.
And I'm glad to be a part of doing this Highland Park show. It really has made me feel good about my city. Because there's so many things that's happening that we got to move forward on. So once we start going in the right direction, Highland Park is going to shoot through the roof. A lot of people don't believe me, but I says time will definitely tell. But Highland Park is moving forward. And,
yes, it is.
And it's not going to sit and wait on anybody. And what we have to do is move forward with what's going on in the universe right now. We can't sit back and wait for it to happen. We have to be a part of it.
Right.
And the only way we're going to be a part of it, you got to participate. We have to participate in the voting and all that. I noticed even in the last election, not that many people voted.
No.
And I was quite, I wasn't disappointed, but I was just, I think about all the people who died for the vote. That's what I think of. Different ones who marched down in Selma and different places. And to see people just not voting is sort of, I feel like we've taken a step back a little bit on the voting. And we got to really work hard towards that. But anyway, I'm very thankful to be here on the show, and thank you for coming. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you come again and update us on what's going on in the city. We really appreciate that. You're watching WJZZ Cool TV, sponsored by the Highland Park Chamber Group. Live on streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and the top social media platforms. Like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest radio station in the world. And I want to thank you again for coming on the show. And again, if those of you who have families who want to do music program, I'll see you at the Rec Center on Saturday at 12 noon. Bring your instruments if you like. I'll check them out for you. And thank you very much.